What's up, guys? It's Emily, MENES, and of the Azura Media Club, home of the Bad Girl Coven. I'm your Coven leader, Emily, for that as well. I'm doing a double episode. I'm crossing over, you know? Both of us are here. Not that we're different people, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna put this on both channels, because it kind of is related to both. I mean, could I really not put a video about the Pokemon anime, one of the most influential pieces of media that I've, experienced um, on my media channel, and then could I really miss the opportunity to put something so integrally video game related on the main channel? I don't think so. I think we gotta double it up. We gotta do both. So you both it. Basically. But anyway, so we're gonna talk about Pokemon, the anime, and what it meant to me. I'm gonna talk uh, a bit about the ending for sure, since that's fresh in my head. I started watching this show, well, back in the day. I mean, I started watching it in like '97 or whatever when it fucking came out, and I can never remember if it was the show or the games that got me into the series, but it must have been the show and word of mouth from my friends, because I remember knowing things about Pokemon, and I think one of my friends had this book, or like a book like it, where you could look through at all of the Pokemon, and I pretended to know what I was talking about in that. But I think I definitely watched the show first, versus playing the games first. So I think the show is almost more influential than... I mean, I love the first game, of course, but then even having played that game, because it's like it was a multimedia franchise. That was what was so brilliant about Pokemon was that it had all these aspects. It had the show, it had the games, it had the trading card game, it had just cute plushies and shit, awesome characters. Oh yeah, and then I have this. This is the original VHS I had from back in the day. Still in pretty nice shape, actually, considering my stupid kid, hands or whatever. So I watched the shit out of this all of the time back in the day. Something else, since we're listening to it right now, God damn it, that I really wanted to talk about the show is, especially in the early seasons, the music is, like these orchestral, awesome versions of like these tunes that we'd only ever heard in like 8-bit, like this is symphonic like gold right here. We got we got the tunes. This is some good tunage here. Is my point to all of this. Yeah, I really love the music. Obviously, I love the music in the games too, but hearing it so like lovingly recreated for the show, and of course the show actually had a lot of great soundtrack of its own. So there's so many iconic episodes of the show. The entire like first season is just fucking iconic. That's all like burned into memories of my childhood. Like specifically, I don't know why it was this one that I remembered. Of course, I remember hearing about the infamous Porygon episode back in the day. That never came out here, but the one that I heard about, because I think it later became like a banned episode because of Jinx or whatever, was like the Christmas one, or like one of those episodes around there where Jinx was like in it or whatever, and I remember it's just some random memory. I remember one morning I got up early and to go watch Pokemon, and that was on, and I had s'mores Pop-Tarts, and I don't know why that stuck with me, but I just remember that. I remember getting up early a lot of times before school to go and watch Pokemon because it was awesome. But yeah, I loved it. My friends at the time loved it. the show was awesome. You know, you have iconic characters, Ash and Misty and Brock, and, you know, later on Dawn and Ash, or Ash, Dawn, May, Serena is one of my favorites for sure. You know, I remember back when X and Y was like came out, and I was watching the anime back then. It was cool. I skipped big chunks of this anime. I watched through season 5 initially, and then, much like everything else with Pokemon, around the Hoenn times, I kind of just gave up on it and stopped, like, really paying attention to it. I remember I went back in high school, I believe, and I watched up through the end of season 5 again. And for some reason, at that point, didn't get into Hoenn again. Although I do think I started playing Hoenn on, like, an emulator or something, like the Sapphire or Emerald or something. I don't know. Anyway, because I kind of remember that. But I didn't, like I said, I didn't pick the show up again until, like, X and Y. And, you know what it was? I even tried to watch through later on. It was the switching of Ash's voice. Really, really bothered me back then. And I think the time before this time, I tried to watch it, and this was probably like 2016, 17. It must have been like 2016 or 17 because, you know, I was really big into Pokemon Go at the time. I think I kind of had that nostalgia, so I wanted to like go back. Or, you know, honestly, it might have been 2015 because when did Sun and Moon come out? That was 2015, right? Or 2016? Because I did go through all of the games again and catch every Pokemon then. It must have been around then I did it. Went back and went through the series. And I very specifically remember getting to whatever episode Ash's voice changes on, and I couldn't take it. And I'm like, I give up. I'm not going to watch this whole thing. And then when I did it more recently, I believe last year or the year before, I think it was last year because I was caught up, and then the problem was it was all coming out, but it was subbed. I have a really kind of crazy thing. Like, I watched the original run, like, for me, the original run, like, oh, this is so epic. I love this. God, you know, if you go back and watch, like, my top 25 Pokemon video, which is, like, really outdated at this point, that's part where I'm talking about Charmander. This is in the background. That's some good shit right there. Remember when I used to edit my videos and stuff? That was great, wasn't it? They were better, but, like, I just don't fucking have time for that anymore. I cannot do that. Otherwise, there would be no videos weekly. That just would not be a thing. I can barely do that now, you know, like, but anyway, we're not talking about that. Yeah, so when I went back to watch through this time around, I think I got through, like, season 5, and then somewhere in Hoenn, I'm like, I want to see how this would sound, like, sped up, you know? So I did that. I sped it up. I think it was in Sinnoh or late Hoenn. You know, definitely there was some in Hoenn that I'd sped up, but I would go. I did most of this series at 2 speed. I think at the time of like Hoenn through maybe like part of Sinnoh, I did like 1.5 speed, and generally whenever the show would get like to its big moments, these like big battles, you know, I would always kind of slow it down to 1.5 so I could actually watch it and kind of understand what was going on and whatnot. And it wasn't like so fast. Like, I definitely had to do that like near the end when he was like battling all the champions or whatever. I was at 1.5 speed. I cannot watch this. I don't know how you people do it. I cannot watch this show at single one times normal speed. It is abysmal. Some of those theme songs sound so bad at 1 speed. I don't know how you people do it. So, pro tip, if you want to watch Pokemon, go at 2x speed or 1.5 if you're not into 2x there. And I think it helps the pacing of the show a lot. It makes it feel snappier, and you can get a 22-minute episode done in 11 minutes, which is fantastic. So, I did that. Do I regret that? No, definitely not. I wouldn't have made it through this show without that. So, yeah. I love this show. There's so many. I can't talk about all of the iconic moments, but you know, like I said, like the first season especially, the first 80 episodes, every episode is just so memorable. When he loses the league for the first time, you know, there it's just so heartbreaking, you know, because Charizard won't listen to him, and then there's a whole arc with Charizard later. That's great, you know. Um, Stuff like that is just really impactful. I remember there was like a ton of moments like that where, or like just so many good emotional moments in general throughout the show's run. You know, saying goodbye to Butterfree, and pretty much every season, Ash would take in some kind of powerful Pokemon or something, and usually say goodbye to it. And he would always get the coolest Pokemon and some of the stupidest Pokemon too. I like Noivern a lot. That's actually my birthday Pokemon is Noibat 714. Um, so like when he got that in Gen 6, I thought that was really cool. You know, stuff like that. I love Dragonite, so when he got that in the most recent series, that was fantastic. And Gengar was one of my favorites. I always liked Haunter as well. Those were both. I kind of did like a tiebreaker on the list of those. Like I had to put them both on there because like I couldn't decide back then. I talked about Dragonite too in that video, obviously, because I love Dragonite. It's so good. Um, I think the whole thing with the Ho-Oh like flying over the rainbow, I thought that was really cool. Um, Near the end there, I was kind of hoping like Go would catch like Lugia and Ash would catch Ho-Oh, and that would just be like the most fitting way to become a Pokemon master that there was. But yeah, so many iconic characters and stuff, and just so many iconic battles, you know. I really like fucking some of the rivals, like, you know, Gary is fucking iconic as shit, you know, especially in the early run, but he really matures by the later stuff. Also, this thing takes place over the course of a year, not even a year, because Ash is still 10 at the end of the show. That's stupid. Don't that line needs to be changed, like, seriously. At least make him 11 or 12 or something. Like, really? You're gonna say that all that happened within a year? That just doesn't make any sense. And it's not like some of it didn't happen and they were just like rebooting the continuity, because they reference fucking literally everything. But oh my god, listen to this. It's so good. It's so rockin'. You gotta love that. Oh man, this makes me want to go back and watch like the original season again. Like, yeah. Shit. Oh my god, it was so good too. I mean, yeah, not that the show like lost its quality, but it kind of did. I thought Hoenn was a really good set of arcs there. That was really fun. I think May really helped with that, and the fact that Brock was there and Misty was there for part of it was kind of cool. I didn't really care for the Sinnoh arc as much, I believe. I mean, other than Dawn and, like, her contest stuff, I think that arc was kind of I just don't really like Sinnoh. It's kind of the problem there. And then, Gen 5 was also kind of, ugh. You know, like, it was kind of dragging at that point. But then you get to Gen 6, and that arc's actually pretty good. I really liked a lot of the episodes in there. The Alola arc was okay, you know, like, that's another one that's like, wish we can gotta get through this to fucking get to Gen 8, and then, I think the most recent arc was great, because it was no longer just, like, we're doing gym leaders and stuff. I guess they kind of bucked that trend on Gen 7 there, but, he literally just goes around with, like, Go and what's her face, and does adventures, like whatever adventure he fucking feels like doing, and it's great, and I really like that. And I really like the introduction of Go, because like as a character at the beginning, we all thought that Pokemon Master meant like catching every Pokemon, right? Turns out that's not fucking true at all, and it's like really just, and that's even kind of in like some of the final episodes there, like Gary asks Ash, like, when he becomes champion, he's like, well, does that make you a Pokemon Master now? How close are you to being a Pokemon Master? And, I guess that can lead a segue into, I'm going to talk about the ending, spoilers, by the way. because it's just so inconclusive, you know? I really thought that they were gonna somehow wrap all this up. You know, we'd still see Ash going on his way. That's kind of what they did. Also, the whole thing about mentioning his father and then not showing him, that was a fucking giant cop-out. They shouldn't have done that. Uh, I really don't... I mean, I like the final episode, I just don't understand why that was the final episode, you know? Uh, it just... It was a good episode, but it deserved to be just some episode in one of the seasons, you know? That is my actual problem with everything post him becoming the champion, other than, like, the Project Mew thing, which was only, like, one or two other episodes, is that all of it is so freaking unnecessary. All of it. You know, okay, now he's back with Misty and Brock again, and they're doing stuff in Kanto. Oh, look, we saw Squirtle again. Cool. Because that needed to happen, and, like, Pidgeot's back. Awesome. You know, like, who cares, man? I mean, I know Pokemon fans actually care, because they've been talking about this shit for years, but it just felt so, you know, pandery. It was just, you did this great arc, you finally made Ash win the Pokemon League, and then you just did a bunch of filler to fill out the ending, and it's like, you didn't need to do that. None of that affected me at all. I wasn't, like, emotionally invested in any of that. All of that was just references to previous stuff, which is fine, but, you know, there was no substance there. And I thought, okay, if this all leads to kind of some kind of conclusive arc to Ash and Team Rocket and stuff, that'll be fine. But none of that happened. Team Rocket are still going after Ash. Ash is still trying to, you know, befriend Pokemon or whatever. Which is fine. I mean, you know, I didn't expect his entire journey to end, but I just thought, like, I don't know, it would feel more like a conclusion. It really doesn't. And literally the last lines of the show are fucking, like, you know, Ash's journey will keep going on and on forever, basically. And it's like, I understand that's kind of cool, but in another way, you know, it's like, I wanted Ash to have the end of his journey. I wanted him to reach a conclusion, you know, and it doesn't seem like that's really happened, you know? So that's kind of disappointing in that regard. Um, you know, and it's just surreal that the whole thing is fucking over. I started watching this shit in 97. That's like 27 years ago or whatever. 27? See, 3. Yeah, 27 years ago. You know, I started watching this show. And, you know, just, I just thought we were going to get somewhere with that conclusion, and it really it just kind of meandered the whole way, and then the last episode was like about a ghost kid or something, and it's just like, this is so strange. Why is this what we're doing? It was kind of nice, but I mean, like, as a conclusion to Pokemon, or Ash's part of Pokemon, I know there's going to be more Pokemon, and they already made more episodes about these other kids. I don't give a whole fucking shit about that. The only reason I care enough about this is because it's Ash. You know, it's the character that we've known since the beginning. We thought they'd never retire him, and then we all had these, like, theories and these rumblings. It was all kind of leading to the end, and it finally did end, you know? Maybe not in the greatest way ever, but it ended, and nonetheless, and that's cool. And of course, they'll probably bring Ash back as some kind of older character at some point. God, if he's still 10, whenever the fuck he comes back, I am gonna just... I will lose it. I don't care. I'm not watching that anyway. Oh, man. And I hate to be like, this is like a bummer thing on my fucking Pokemon episode, you know, about the anime, but it's just like, I don't want to talk about the games all that much, but God, the games have just gone, you know, not downhill, but yeah, in a way, for sure. I thought Gen 8 was pretty good, you know, it still wasn't as complete as I would have liked it to be, but Gen 9 was definitely just unfucking finished, you know. Gen 8 at least felt like a game. Gen 9 just felt like, this is, we did about half of it, you know, and that was it. And then, I guess they tried to fix it with DLC. I don't care. I didn't play that, because fuck that shit, man. It's just, I don't want to get into a whole rant about it. I have a whole review about that on my Zero Media or Zero Game Club channel. Uh, but the Pokemon anime, it has meant a lot to me. You know, there's so many iconic episodes, like I said, you know, Random Fire, the Eevee episode, I'm looking at my shirt, the one where he fights Sabrina is classic. The Ditto episode, I don't know why the fuck I thought about that. You know, like Snorlax is an iconic Pokemon from the anime, earlier on. Fucking, I don't know. The whole contest arcs of the female characters. You know, it's like, it was kind of weird that, like, female characters could never be, like, Pokemon battlers unless you're, like, Cynthia or something, but I don't know, there was some good gym leaders, too. I'm really partial to Hoenn, so I guess that's probably why I liked that arc a lot as well. They're actually some of my favorite Pokemon games after me and my friend may have, like, just played through them again. Was that last year or the year before or something, so. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's just, it's the perfect companion piece to the games. You know, especially back in the 90s, watching the show, it felt like the games were, like, coming to life. You know, you see these, like, small town locations in these games. But, you know, you watch the show and it's like, holy shit, look how cool this is. You know, it was just fucking epic on another level. And the animation is actually just really good for what it is. I mean, it's not always perfect, but, you know, it's pretty damn good. I do enjoy it. There's some epic, like, fights, some epic Pokemon catching, some epic Pokemon sightings, you know? Oh god, I hate to keep railing on the ending, but the whole Latios and Latias thing was so fucking unnecessary. What was that about? They spent several episodes referencing a thing that happened in a Pokemon movie from, like, Gen 3, you know? It's like, oh my god, this is what I'm talking about. It's, you don't need to do this. I get it, we're heading towards the ending, but it, it was so lackluster compared to some moments we've had in the series so far. There's been so many better emotional moments. The time when Pikachu fucking, like, was gonna leave because Ash was trying to, like, push him away. That's such a fucking sad episode. Yeah, that one especially. Um, man, it's hard to encapsulate, like, everything the Pokemon anime, like, means to me, you know? It's just really, I loved watching this show back in the day. And I still enjoy watching it now. I really still think it holds up very well for the most part. Like I said, there's some downs in terms of some seasons are less than others, and that's pretty much just because I'm less invested in, like, the Sinnoh region and, like, Unova and Alola and stuff, like. But, you know, like, especially for being as long as it was, like, incredible run, you know, it just, there's definitely some bad episodes, or just some lackluster episodes, but there's so many good moments to balance that out that is it worth watching the entire thing? I mean, I don't know, that's based on how dedicated you are to wanting to watch this thing, you know? If you just watch a few episodes a day, it's going to take you a long time, but you can get there. You can do it. I watched the whole thing, you know? And I watched all the movies, too. I forgot to even fucking mention that. I have a poster somewhere. Actually, I think that one is still at my mom's house from the first movie there. I have a giant poster of Ash and Pikachu there, too. And I used to have a poster with all of the Pokemon on it. I have several posters like that, but yeah, man, it's just something I really enjoyed, and the art style too from the show is so iconic, and it really does capture the games very well, you know. Oh god, listen to this. It's so good, and it's so nostalgic too, because all this music's from, like, Gen 1, you know. Like, the later music's great too, but just hearing it adapted into the show is just always epic. It's so good. So good. That's part of what it just breathes so much life into the franchise, you know? It's just like I said, you see these little locations on an 8-bit screen and you're like, alright, that's pretty cool. And then it's like you see it rendered in full, like, visual glory on your TV screen, you know? In this anime form, and you're just like, wow, this is epic. Like, this is fucking awesome, you know? Yeah, like Team Rocket too. They're like, you know, iconic villains. They're kind of blunders, but you know, they get stale after a while. But you know, they do kind of switch things up every now and again. I think they really needed to just. I was really hoping they would just like kind of give up and they'd be okay with that and just kind of go on their way. That's what I kind of thought people had said was happening, and I guess it's not, because at the end they're just chasing Ash again. It's like, what the fuck is this? You know, it's like, that's maybe just my biggest problem, is that I never really felt this like conclusiveness. I actually felt more conclusiveness for a lot of the characters that they like brought back and stuff, like in their seasons where they were at, like Dawn and May and stuff, and Serena. I felt they were very concluded back when those characters, like, you know, concluded their seasons of the show, you know? It's cool that they brought him back. I mean, I'm totally for that. It's just, I don't know. It's just really underwhelming, the ending. It's just for all this build up, you know. Maybe it's just that's because, you know, that's how the games are now, and they're really trying to capture how underwhelming all that is now. I don't know, but I like I said, I like everything pretty much before, like when he's becoming champion and all of that. That's all really great. Everything before that even is great. And I don't think it's like just the hype wore off, you know, that because I was so close to finishing it. I think the ending is genuinely just like a lot of filler, and it just doesn't make a very conclusive, you know, ending. So, which is sad, you know. It just they're never get another shot at it, pretty much. So it's what it is. What it is. But um, yeah, I love the Pokemon anime. I'll always love the Pokemon anime. I'm really glad I finally finished watching it, so I can have that giant, like, you know, primate size fucking weight off my back, you know. Um, God, now I'm thinking of monkeys. I'm thinking of fucking Monkey Madness, and I'm still gonna do Monkey Madness too. Anyway, so yeah, I really enjoyed the show. I think it's hard to, you know, of course Ash's iconic hat, and he gets it back at the end. That's pretty cool. And apparently it came from his dad. Like, are we still on, like, Bruno is his dad theory? It can't be Giovanni. Like, that would have been... Like, he's seen his dad. Like, he would know that's Giovanni. And, like, I remember that was a whole arc. Or is he just some guy, right? Maybe he works at the Pokemon League? I don't fucking know. Um... Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, this is just a general overview. I'm not even gonna... I can't even... I should have done, like, individual season reviews back then. Maybe I'll do that when I'm, like, 90 or something, and I decide to go back and watch this entire show. Uh, but, yeah. It's a very good ride, overall. You know, it has some downs, but like I said, it's just... It still just excels at being a Pokemon fan's, like, everything, you know? It really captures the Pokemon world. It pretty much is the thing that fleshes out the Pokemon world the best, you know? Because the games are so limited, and especially now that they're not, like, really trying at it, you know? But the show, it has such grounds to just expand every corner of the games and make the stupidest locations be the fucking coolest shit ever, you know? And really breathe personality into it. So I think it's a really cool thing that the show exists. I think it's really cool that this franchise is still so multimedia as well. And you can engage in what aspect of it you want to engage in. Because, you know, Pokemon is for everyone. And I think that's what's really special and beautiful about it. And they've really lost a lot of that recently. But I think they can get it back at some point, you know? I remember a time right before Gen 9 and after Gen 8, I mean, it was technically still part of Gen 8, when Pokemon Legends Arceus came out and we were all united once again. It's like, it happens every once, like, I don't know, like 5 or 10 years with Pokemon. You know, you got Pokemon Go, and before that it was probably like Pokemon X and Y, which was only a few years before that. And then before that it was like Pokemania back in the day. And then, you know, of course, Ash his journey ending was kind of one of them too. But also Legends Arceus, and there's a new Legends game coming out. I really want it to be good, but I'm really not holding up any hopes at this point, you know, that it will be any good. But to me, Pokemon will always be this era. Everything leading to this newer era of all these flops and stuff. Not that they were flops, but, you know, I don't know. All this newer stuff that's not exactly my Pokemon anymore, was led up to by some of the greatest Pokemon stuff. And some of the weakest Pokemon stuff. Which, you know, like I said, it's an ups and downs, and I just really appreciate what Pokemon, the series, and especially the show, has done for me, and just having that to watch was such a wonderful thing, and especially as a kid it was one of my favorite shows, and it's definitely still pretty top tier for a show. You know, there's a lot of great shows these days, but it's so memorable, and I'll never forget all of the great things and all of the great episodes, you know? It's just so it's so ingrained in myself and my childhood, and this music's so great. Listen to this. This is so great. Oh my god. What song is this? At Critique City. Oh wow, yeah, nice. We're already into Gen 2. Oh my god, I love Gen 2 so much. The early Pokemon generations are just so good. The first... If Pokemon was a trilogy of games, like game generations, it would be perfect. I would... They just kept improving. And then Gen 4 is just more of the same. And then Gen 5 is just more of the same. And then Gen 6 kind of tried to do something new. And then Gen 7 is kind of more of the same, and with some new variant stuff that kind of sucked. And then it was like, I don't know. But, yeah. Pokemon is so good. I love Pokemon. You know, I do. Even despite all of that, even despite all of my problems with the newer stuff, I still fucking love Pokemon. You know, at the end of the day, like I said, it's just a really big part of me, my development with video games, my love of RPGs, and like Dragon Quest and stuff probably all stemmed from me loving Pokemon so much, like... And that's where it all started, back when I started watching the anime, when I got that, you know, Game Boy and Pokemon Red to play, and I would flip through this book here, this very copy, you know, and just read about all the cool Pokemon, and, you know, oh man, you can't beat it. Pokemon is pretty fucking good. So, I won't go on much longer. The series as a whole, I'll probably give like a 9.5 out of 10. And I highly recommend it. It's just even if you just watch the first 3 generations of the show, you're already doing really good at that point, you know. Can't I can't I can't say I'm super excited to continue playing the games, because a couple. Well, it just mainly Gen 4. I am kind of excited to play Gen 5 again because uh, a lot of people have said that's really good, and I haven't played it in a really long time, so I'm looking forward to that one again, and Gen 6, and not Gen 7, because I don't really like that one, but, uh, yeah, we'll see you for then with Pokemon, you know? This show's beautiful. It meant a lot to me, personally, and to many, many kids of my generation, and it is the show of a generation, you know. You sing the Pokemon theme song. Oh my god, can I talk about the theme songs? Holy shit, they're all fucking, like, for the most part, I'd say like 80% of them, 85% of them are like certified fucking banger jams, you know. The original theme is amazing. The Johto theme is great. I really like a lot of the Hoenn ones, and even some of the later ones too, um, are really quality. Oh my god, I just want to sit here and listen to this fucking music. It's so good. Ugh. If you haven't done yourself the service, the pleasure of going through and watching Pokemon, the show, please do. And like I said, maybe even just the first few generations of it. You don't even have to watch the whole entirety of the thing. I know that's like a thing, but you at least just watch season 1, you know, at least. It's so good. It's so good. And yeah, I can't help but just like geek out over it because I love it. It just it it has such a special place in my heart. And I'll always remember my time back with the show so very, very fondly. And I think a lot of people share that sentiment. And thank you, Game Freak. Thank you, 4Kids, I guess, or whoever's dubbing the show now. You know, it's not 4Kids anymore. It wasn't 4Kids for a long time, but thank you for putting out this wonderful show. And yeah, um, it was amazing. I'm, I'm I'm glad it's over, but also it's just surreal that it is over, you know? And I've put off doing this for so long and like going through and stuff and making excuses, but now I'm finally here at the end, you know? This is one of my favorite root themes, by the way. Oh my god, and this version is so good. Yeah, so appropriate to take us out. Oh my god, the episodes with Charmander were so great. The one where they're in the cave, they're all like they're trying to just hold through the night is just, oh my god, that was a really emotional one as well. That's all classic, all season 1. Although he's a Charmander in that episode because he was already like a Charmeleon or Charizard by that point. They had to like cut the episode and put it elsewhere because of the whole fucking Porygon and Jinx shit. Anyway, um, I don't want to end this video because then it's just over. But I have to, so much like Ash, my journey is concluded, and I'll see you guys in the next one. This has been MENES saying stick around for more reviews, underrated games, and shows and movies related to games, and Emily of the Azura Media Club. Stick around, subscribe to join the Bad Girl Coven, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Never forget, magic comes from the heart, and that's it. Emily, Pokemon out.